Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm using some watercolour inks and creating little ink splotches and then drawing over them for fun, because why not? So I just start by putting some water on it with my watercolour brush and just spreading that around the paper. I'm not covering it all, and I did use cartridge paper because obviously normal paper it'd go everywhere. Then I just used some pink splotches and moved it around a little bit, and it started going everywhere, so I just wiped that up and I moved on to number two. So then I moved on to number two, so I got another piece of paper and I just tried by putting these yellow splotches on there, but obviously they didn't move because there were no water, because I wanted to try it in a different way. And then I just sort of like tried to move them around, they didn't, so I just got my brush to like do that with them, but I didn't like how that looked, so I did leave it to dry. I didn't really like how it looked, so I was contemplating whether I should do it again. So anyway, for this one I did do the water technique because obviously it worked better, and I'm pretty sure this is the one where I did two colours on it, and that one worked really well. And I moved that to, no, it isn't the one where I did two colours on it, this is the one where I did two colours on it. And I did do the other side of that yellow one. And so I just sort of put water on there. Then I did two colours and then put the pink over the top. And then just moved it around a bit. And I like the colour that it made when it mixed together. Then I just wiped up that again. And then I used the other side of the yellow one. And I just put some more water on it, spread it round, and then did a red one. And I just left that. So I went to go get some piece of paper. I left it to dry a bit so it stained the paper, but not fully. And I just got some paper and I just dabbed up all the excess. Well, you can't really tell what I'm doing, but this one had obviously been left to dry a lot longer than the others. So I just sort of dabbed it up, and I don't get why they were clear whites, but maybe that had not had the water, so maybe that affects it. Or it's still got a papery texture, so I don't really understand why. So that's the first one, and then I do the blue one and I get a bit more paper. This one has a lot more water and you can clearly see it going in there. And then I just continued to go round the edge, and this was really fun actually. I'd love to do it again, obviously not recorded, just do it in my own time because there's no point in me doing two videos on the same subject, apart from the mini-verse one, which I've done loads of them already, but they're different projects. This is just the same thing. So then I do the multicoloured one, and I get some tissue paper and just take all that water off of it and leave it to dry. I did leave them to dry a bit more. I didn't use them straight away. I did use them like a day after, so they're just fully dried and I'm not going to be working on like a damp surface. And then I did the final red one, which is sort of my least favourite. I'm not that keen on it, but I think it had like a really good shape and it did work really well. I just wish it had been in a different colour because the red's not really my favourite. It looked nicer before I'd like took all the water off it, so I think if I'd left it to dry a bit longer it would look better. So that's sort of not my favourite. So then I left them to dry a bit, I just wiped up my surface. So these are what they ended up looking like. Some of them do have like curvy edges, which I didn't mention at the start, but they do, just because I wanted to do that. So then I started drawing on them. Right, so I have got pieces of paper. Can you see them? Like that. And I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. I'm going to start with the one I least like. So that one, then move along to that one, then move on to that one, then move on to that one. So I sort of get the hang on it as I move along, if you get what I'm trying to say. So yeah, let's just get started with the drawing. So I didn't realise my room was always so echoey when I'm filming. I didn't realise that, but it is, apparently. So I got a pencil, I just started sketching out what I wanted to draw, and I wanted to draw a flower bouquet. I don't know how to say that word. And I just did some little flowers. I didn't like that, so I rubbed it out, and I was scared it was going to rub like the watercolour ink off. But I think because it stained the paper, it worked. It didn't do that. So then I did these like little flowers, and I think they look really cute. And I didn't like that one, so I just did it different. But then I still changed it when I went over it for the like actual, when I went over it with a fine liner. I did change it one more time because I didn't like it still. So I did these little roses, which I've never drawn a rose before, so I'm really proud of myself for that. And I just did the stems, and then I did this flower, which I'm very used to doing. And then I did another rose, and then I did another one of them, just basic flowers, and then I did a final rose. Then I just went over it and fine lined it all, and I moved on to the next one, which was the red one. So if you can't tell already, I'm doing a little house on a on a hill or a lake with some stones going down, and then I just did a tree for extra detail, and I was going to add a bush, but I didn't think it looked right, and then my camera kept unfocusing, and I didn't realise it was doing that, and then I realised it were doing it eventually, and I was like, oh, why is it doing that? So it is really annoying. I don't think it did it for the last one. And anyway, that's how that one turned out, and now I'm doing the pink one. So I can't tell if you're doing, but you know when people like see what they can see in the image and they draw it? That's what I was trying to do. So I sort of saw like a koala sort of thing. So that's how that turned out. I'm not really happy with it, but I guess it's okay. And then I moved on to my favourite piece of the entire thing. And this was the multicoloured one, as you can see. I'm so excited how this turned out. If you can't tell, I'm just doing something simple. I'm doing the back of a panda because I like pandas, and why not? So this is how they all turned out at the end, and I'm really happy with this one, the bouquet. I still don't know how to say that, but the bunch of flowers, let's say. Then I did the house one, and then I did the koala. I don't know what to call it, the weird one that I don't like. And then I did my favourite one, which is just the little bear, and it needs some rubbing out of the whole thing, basically, because it's done something. But anyway, this is how they all turned out. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like, and everyone watching probably subscribe. If you're not, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.